Ha! Hi, I'm John Green. I'm actually not John Green. Welcome to Crash Course English Literature in this crappy high school knockout version, paid for by no one, filmed in some random high school classroom, and mandated by our high school English teacher, because this is a big project that's worth a big amount of our grades. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and okay, we actually have to do an episode. What are we reading today? Native Speaker by Chang Rae, a classic American novel about lies, deception, and Korean people. Native Speaker is a novel about Henry Park, a second-generation Korean-American living in the biggest of apples, New York City. He is married to Layla, a white speech therapist from a wealthy New England family, and had a kid, Mitt, who died in a tragic accident on his 7th birthday. Henry works as a corporate spy for an agency that probably really should not exist in the real world. I mean, legally in terms, because they have like a contract killer and an arsonist on hand, and I don't think any legal entity would have it. It probably has like a .onion registry and exists only in the black market. Yeah, I'm saying Henry works at a shady place. Classic American career. The novel begins with Layla leaving Henry, unable to deal with his lack of emotion and refusal to accept his son's death. At work, Henry is assigned to infiltrate the campaign team of John Kwang, a rising Korean-American politician running for mayor of New York City. At first glance, Kwang is a guy I would vote for. He is a Democrat with strong policy towards supporting local businesses rather than large unions. Because, of course, it's the chop suey shops and the tailors that need the help more than the millions of auto workers who are abused by factories and... oh boy. John Kwang also has really strong family ties with his own family. In all terms, he's perfect. And his rival, the incumbent Mayor DeRuse, a sleazy, regular old New Yorker with strong union ties, really does not like John Kwang. Starting as an administrative position, Henry eventually worked his way up onto the higher echelons of Kwang's campaign, after demonstrating exceptional skill and attention towards his work, and also being Korean, because racism is also a thing in this book. At this point, Henry was beginning to really like John Kwang, which is kind of bad when you're actually a spy for John Kwang. Kwang even invites Henry to dinner, which also makes everything even more complicated, because Henry is a spy. Eventually becoming a surrogate father to Henry, who had consistently disappointed his real father when his real father was alive. Everything goes downhill when Kwang's headquarters is blown up and set on fire, resulting in the death of 2 employees, a dedicated, young, aspiring straight-A student named Eduardo, and the office janitor, Helda. Henry was very distraught over this, blaming his boss and co-worker, Jack, the Greek arsonist, for the deaths. Remember when I said John Kwang was perfect? Yeah, there is no such thing as a perfect person. As a matter of fact, I even hinted it when I said he had strong family ties. Guess what? Family ties to the mafia! It revealed that John Kwang ordered the attack himself, using his Korean mafia connections. The reason? Eduardo was revealed to also be a spy who works at the same agency as Henry Park. Coincidence? It's a book. Public investigators, having caught on to the explosion, uncovered more evidence on John Kwang's dirty dealings. John Kwang is revealed to be part of this huge money laundering scheme and a human trafficking ring, in addition to his mafia connections. Kwang, having been defamed beyond comprehension, disbands his campaign and tries to go into hiding. Henry feels the guilt, somehow, believing he had a part in this entire thing. Ultimately, the novel concludes with John Kwang returning to Korea and Layla returning to Henry. After quitting his job at the spy firm, Henry has dedicated the rest of his time to working alongside Layla at the speech therapy center. In reality, if I really were in a John Green crash course video, I would have went on to do the theme myself. But fortunately, we have a dedicated program on my computer that can help explain the theme. Introducing the Theme Machine.
Hi, I'm Tiffany and I'm part of the Theme Machine. In Native Speaker by Chang Rae, the main character is uncertain whether to call himself an American or a Korean because of his upbringing and cultural heritage. Growing up, Chang Rae struggled to become a part of the American identity as well as the main character, because his family is also not fluent in English as well. Chang Rae once said, "I remember feeling this shame and feel hurt for my mother. I wonder now if I became a writer because I was just so afraid I wouldn't fit in." In Native Speaker, the main character, Henry, struggles to be accepted in American culture and questions how much of his Korean identity is acceptable to show. As a foreigner, Henry felt out of place at his work and even in his relationship with his wife, Layla. Henry and his wife come from different cultural backgrounds, and throughout the book you see the obstacles they face. Even though Henry is a second-generation Korean American, there are still a lot of Korean aspects and elements and mannerisms he implements in his way of life. And this equals to him clashing with his wife, Layla. And with their beliefs and differences, it shows that there are still obstacles and cultural barriers. Although the situations in the book are not your everyday journey of an Asian American, because there's a main character who is a corporate spy. Now let's see what's in the secret compartment. Oh look, binoculars! An item you use to see things far away, just like Henry as a corporate spy. Henry being a spy in the book symbolizes foreigners only being able to watch and listen in their everyday life. But when it comes to speaking, they have to remain silent because there are only certain things that they're allowed to say or they can't say because what is acceptable in American society. Chang Rae talked about his way of using symbolic elements to represent the way of life of an outsider. He once said, "I've always thought of myself as a spy, a watcher, a listener, and for what?" In Native Speaker, it follows Henry's journey of self-discovery as a Korean American. Henry struggles to be accepted in American culture and questions how much of his Korean identity is acceptable to show.
Such an inability to accommodate with the American culture of Henry and the other Chang Rae can be explained through understanding their cultural backgrounds. If you're not Korean, you might have wondered why most of your Korean friends have the last name of either Park, Lee, Kim, or Choi. Korea is a very homogynous country that rarely experienced racial mixing, even during the Japanese invasion period. Such ethnic homogeneity of Korea created strong societal bond between people of the traditional Korean race. At the same time, the concept of yeah is greatly emphasized in Korean culture. Although it cannot be directly translated, yeah is a kind attitude or etiquette that you have to demonstrate in front of other people, valuing other people's comfort over yourself. Although not constitutionally stated and have greatly changed over the past decade, because it is considered to be against the yeah to value yourself over others, it is socially unaccepted to go against the social norm to be different from others. Also, influenced by the Confucianism, age is the primary factor that determines one's social position in Korea. This can explain the strict attitude that Mr. Park had to his son, who is neither completely Americanized nor following the social norm of Korea. In addition, Korea experienced frequent war throughout its history, which resulted in pali-pali, which means faster attitudes among its people, which people tends to try everything fast. It may be explained why many second-generation Korean Americans feel ashamed of not Americanizing fast enough. Also, many Korean Americans face conflict in determining their identity because there is a huge cultural difference between a homogenized country like Korea and a melting pot of races like the United States of America.
Hello there, I'm the Characterization Cop, and today we are reviewing the novel Native Speaker. We are going to direct our attention to the two mentors of our protagonists, John Kwang and Henry Park's father. While both men find their respective ways to assimilate into American society, at their core, they still hold on to their Korean roots. However, John allows John allows the dark scheme of money laundering to twist his mind until he becomes the very thing he swears to destroy as mayor. Once news of John's secret life spilled, his reputation started, as the book said, diving in the polls, not just in one poll, but across the board. Reporters call everyone on the staff, phone us at the office, suggesting unceasingly how it must involve money. It must involve money. As John had swelled to twice his pride, his fall doubled as well. Being drawn to the spotlight allowed him to win the favor of the people, no matter what race they were. However, this put a target on his back and caused his fall from grace to be that much greater. Henry's father, on the other hand, takes a much nobler route to success. After toiling away at a supermarket job, his father joins a ge, or Korean money pool. After receiving the pot, Henry's father opens his own chain of supermarkets and moves the Parks to an upper-class suburban community. As it says in the book, he never felt fully comfortable in his fine house in Ardsley. He would steal late and unnoticed into the gym, where I was playing kiddie basketball, and stand by the far side of the bleachers with a rolled up newspaper in his hand, tapping nervously against his thigh as he watched the action, craning to see me shoot the ball but never shouting or urging like the other fathers and mothers did. This literally shows how his father felt like an outsider, always unable to be an exact replica.
Hey guys, I'm Travis, and you guys just heard from Enzo about John Quang and Henry Park's father, but I'm about to drop some knowledge about Henry Park. Yeah. Throughout this novel, numerous flashbacks help flesh out Henry Park, from his regular sessions of listening to the recordings of his now deceased son, to his plans on renovating his father's old estate. He never seems able to make time for the present. You did a great job hiding it, she said sharply. I'm sorry, Henry, I don't want to be no fun, but I'm not going to let you step into the middle of my night and start revising our history. History is clear here. You were solemn and dignified. After Mitt gets dogpiled to the death, Layla exposes Henry's flaws. The main flaw of Henry is always hiding his emotions to everyone he interacts with. He is not sincere and organic, but he is rather a clown since Henry puts makeup and on the outside being fake. You can say Henry is a beta, and Beyonce said it best, who runs the world, girl's girl. When Henry's at his dad's place, cleaning it out after his dad passed away, all over the house things were still in piles. The amount of the work was beginning to overwhelm us. Neither of us was much of an organizer. Henry sees himself now wishing he had more time to spend with his father, but since his main flaw is hiding his emotions, he's now mourning over his dad's death with Layla, his ex-wife, and starts to reconnect and is starting to open himself up with Layla.